you got to look at it and say, like, do I have a chance? If the people ranking for those keywords now, let's say you're going after, if you sell football gear, right? A great article would be like around concussion statistics and like how can football helmets help that? Like that's a huge topic. People are referencing that all day long. But if you search that and the top 10 results are like ESPN and CNN and things like that, like you're not going to beat them. So like you said, you have to pick a topic that you feel like you have some ability to rank for.
Welcome to Show Me the Nuggets, where each week Joe chats with world-class entrepreneurs to find out the key principles, strategies, and processes that lie behind their outstanding achievements. Now, your host, the no-bullshit serial entrepreneur, Joe Troyer.
Hey everybody, it's Joe Troyer, and welcome to another episode of Show Me the Nuggets. Today we have Justin Smith here, fellow Ohioan, and actually just found out right before the show he's like literally right down the street from me. Hilarious. Super excited to have Justin on the show. Justin, man, without further ado, welcome, brother.
Yeah, we should have just done this in person.
That would have been a little better. So, man, you are the CEO and founder of OtterBox. You want to talk a little bit about what you guys do over there?
Yeah, so at OtterBox, we really focus on, we started as a website development company. So I guess almost 18 years ago now, just about. So when we started it, our focus was really, building great sites. Like most web design companies 18 years ago, you're building a lot of informational sites, things like that. And then we quickly got into e-commerce and started focusing on that as we saw that would be the growth of, where marketing was going and an opportunity. After that, we realized, okay, well, once you have an e-commerce site, you need to do the marketing. So we got into the search engine optimization side of it and really took off from there. So now we're really a full service agency from planning to design, development, search marketing, paid search, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, perfect. And is e-com your guys' bread and butter these days?
Yeah, it really is. So, again, we practice what we preach. So if you go on Google and you search e-commerce SEO company, you're going to find us right at the top. So e-commerce is probably a good 80% of our business.
That's cool. Our show's producer, Eduardo, did some research and found you guys have a team of about 80 plus people. I'm curious, what's that team look like? What's the org chart kind of look like for you guys?
Yeah, we hired a president this year. He was one of the partners that we've had. He's been a partner for, 13, 14 years. So it's great to bring him on as active president now, which has made my job a little bit easier. I get to focus on the marketing side of the business instead of just talking with employees all day long. So it's kind of freed up my time to work on growing the company. But as far as the org chart, we really have, a director over each department. So a director over account management and over paid search and over SEO. In SEO, we kind of have that. That's our biggest division. We probably have 50 people in the SEO department. So we have probably 3 or 4 managers there. But yeah, really just a director for each department. And then, we have strategists. We have specialists underneath them in departments as well.
Yeah, man. Sounds like you guys have grown like crazy, man. Over the last 18 years or so, you got 80 plus full-time people. I mean, that's crazy. What would you say has been kind of the 80-20 of your guys' growth and success?
Yeah, I mean, really the biggest, COVID's helped. We were already on a good growth trajectory. We were growing like crazy, but, obviously everything went nuts with e-commerce sales, online marketing. So that only benefited us once we realized the world wasn't going to end. But it's been a good mix of really, the biggest growth for us is just practicing what we preach. We rank really well for what we're doing. We get inbound leads coming to us every day. We get people calling us every day, and it makes it a hell of a lot easier for our sales team.
So before we got started on the show, I was telling you about how we came across an article that you wrote about white hat link building and developing what you call link magnet pages. And one of the big reasons I wanted to get you here on the show today, and one of the things I wanted to focus on and to be honest, kind of pick your brain about. So I'm really curious, like, what are the main strategies that you guys are employing to rank for these obviously uber competitive keywords? SEOs doing SEO, gets pretty competitive.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. I mean, one is obviously you have to have great content. I mean, you still see SEO companies or suggestions where like you bring them a site and all they want to do is link building. And
Yep.
there's some value to link building for sure. But at the end of the day, you still have to have great content first. You have to have a great technical site. I would say you can't really rank a site just from doing technical things right, but you can definitely kill a site from doing technical things wrong.
For sure.
So you have to make sure that's all buttoned up. But yeah, great content. And then, when we're using this strategy that we're talking about with statistics, it's really building an awesome page that delivers some value. And then it's ranking that page. So it's kind of what comes first, right? You rank the page and then you get more links into the page.
Yep.
So it's that balance of how do you get that ball rolling a little bit.
Perfect. So when you build a link statistics page, which I'm assuming is like one of your types of link magnet pages, right? Where do you get the statistics from? Is it just aggregation? Is it you guys doing your own statistics? What's worked for you guys?
Honestly, yeah, we kind of did it the cheap way. When we built our first page doing it, it was kind of a test. We never realized that the page that we built would be as big as it is. And it really has helped our domain authority because we're getting a ton of links into it all the time. But yeah, we just aggregated it from different sources, cited some different sources, put it all in one clean document that honestly the page isn't anything crazy. It's got some bullet points and it shows some things. We built a super basic infographic that probably took 20 minutes. And yeah, that was really it. I mean, I think if you have the time and you have the ability to do that research and get your own statistics, I think there's some great value in mixing the two together, blending in some authority sources and your own.
Yeah, it's really interesting. In our space, in the agency marketing world, BrightLocal, I think, has done a really good job of doing their own statistics and their own research. One of the only companies I've really seen do it. And if you look at the backlinks and their competitors, it's like there's no wonder they're smashing everybody because everybody's linking to their content over and over and over, and they keep refreshing it every year. So I mean, it's just a wheel that just keeps a flywheel that just keeps spinning.
Yeah, it's definitely important to keep it updated. Once it's working, you can kind of just let it sit there and forget about it. But you'll realize that the links start falling off and the rankings start dropping for that page as well. So, but yeah, the page that we really have had a ton of success on is we built statistics just around mobile online shopping. So how many people are, what percentage of people are buying on mobile devices, that kind of stuff. So if you go to Google and you search probably just something like mobile e-commerce stats, you'll probably see our article right at the top. And so we get tons of everybody from GoDaddy to Forbes to, like DA 90 sites linking to it all day long, just referencing it when they're talking about online sales.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So if you were going to start out again and you had to rank that page, what would you do? Like, would you buy some links to it? How would you get it ranking initially? How would you get that traction?
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky when we did it because we already had a high DA site. We've been around for a long time. A lot of the content we write, we can write new articles, get them indexed, and rank on the first page of Google in a matter of an hour. Gotcha. So we definitely have that advantage going for us. Now, if you're a brand new website, it might not be the best strategy to use because you got to get the page out there and you got to get some rankings with it. But I guess that's with any new site and any page you build. Sharing it on social media, trying to get some, just some people to link to it. Hey, put it on your Twitter feed for us. Can you share it on Facebook? We always do that within our company. Again, it's nice. We have 80 people that can share something and get a bunch of shares right away. But try to use your network just to share that content piece. And once you get a few going, if you can get it, it's a snowball effect. So yeah, I mean, can you do some guest posting in placements like that? Yeah, I mean, that can't hurt.
You got to do what you got to do, I guess, to get it ranked. I even heard somebody was driving Google search ads around statistics, keyword phrases around statistics to their page to get the backlinks to kind of boost the organic listings as well. I thought was a really interesting strategy.
Yeah.
So best practices, anything that we haven't covered on building these statistics page that you would say like, man, I'd really be remiss if I didn't tell you need to do this or don't do this.
I would, definitely cite credible sources. I think that's beneficial. It's also beneficial to do some external linking. I think with any blog post or any article, external links help to authoritative sources. But this makes it really easy to do external links because you can cite other websites. Only thing you have to watch is, a lot of times you're citing other sites that are probably trying to rank for the same thing you're trying to rank for. But it's still, we haven't had too many issues with that. But yeah, that's really what I would say, is just make sure you include sources that when someone else wants to link to you, they're going to say, okay, their research was well founded and not just pulling stuff from everywhere.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that I'd think about is like just going after a search phrase that you could probably rank for page, right? Because if you do it on too big of a topic, you're never going to rank, and then you just kind of did it in vain.
Yeah,
so
100%. Yeah, I mean, you gotta look at it and say, like, do I have a chance? If the people ranking for those keywords now, let's say you're going after, if you sell football gear, right? A great article would be like around concussion statistics and like how can football helmets help that? Like, that's a huge topic. People are referencing that all day long. But if you search that and the top 10 results are like ESPN and CNN and things like that, like, you're not going to beat them. So like you said, you have to pick a topic that you feel like you have some ability to rank for.
So I know on your site, on one of your case studies, you were talking about you're getting about 100 links per month with the strategy to one of your pages. Yeah. So is that kind of normal? Are you doing any outreach for that? Tell us a little bit kind of about that.
No, we're doing absolutely nothing. It's really funny. I mean, it's honestly just that page. Again, we built this page just as a little test. I don't even know, honestly, we built it so long ago. I don't even know if we built it to try to get links or if it was just like a blog topic idea, like, hey, let's write about mobile e-commerce and how it's growing. It's probably what it was. And it kind of just turned into this thing where, yeah, I mean, we probably get more than 100 links. We're probably getting 10 a day to it from good sources. It's just, but again, it ranks #1 on Google when you search for that. So people are literally just like, oh, I need to cite something. They're doing what we said. Like, I need to put an external link into my blog post. They search for a stat, they find it, they throw that external link in to like satisfy their external, their 2 or 3 external links when they're doing SEO themselves.
So, I love it. Yeah. I love it. I don't see near enough marketing agencies actually doing marketing for themselves, right? Actually doing what they teach, what they preach. And I think this is a great example that somebody could take and apply to their own niche, their own vertical, and do it themselves. So I absolutely love this strategy.
Yeah. And I always tell people too, just like ask your sales team, what are things people are wondering, what are some, instead of always doing keyword research, use actionable data, and you can use that for other things, not just stats pages, but blog post ideas and stuff too. What things do your clients want to know when you're in the sales process, and then put some good statistics about that and build a good piece around it.
Beautiful, man. So moving on a little bit past just this type of page, are there any other type of kind of link magnet pages that you guys build?
Really, it just comes down to great content. So it's more of what I just said, which are answering questions.
Gotcha.
I love pricing pages. That's something people don't think about a lot. Two of our biggest pages that drive a ton of leads for us. We have an article around e-commerce website pricing. How much does an e-commerce website cost? And then around SEO pricing. Again, you probably search SEO pricing on Google. We're probably #1. Or you search, e-commerce website design costs or anything like that. So those articles work really well. People are always wondering how much something costs. But really just thinking, again, like we said, with your sales team, what are questions people ask when they're wanting to buy your product? And if they have those questions in their head, inevitably people are going to be searching them as well.
Beautiful. So when you guys write out the content for those, do you kind of give best practices, like what should go into SEO and what should a good SEO company do? And then just kind of give general estimates of what that could cost? Is that how you guys format the page? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for each one. For that one, I think we kind of broke it down into like, here's what consultants might charge. Here's what people overseas would charge. Here's what a US company would charge. The difference between a basic SEO package and like an enterprise package. What's the difference between $500 a month SEO and $10,000 a month SEO? A lot of people don't know that. What's the difference between a local SEO campaign and an SEO campaign for an e-commerce site? So I think it's different for every topic, but really just trying to, I guess, probably use searching those main keywords, that main topic like SEO pricing in Google, and then looking at what are the suggested searches and
For sure.
make sure you answer the suggested searches as well around the topic.
Yeah, that's great advice. So it seems like it would be fair to say, let me know if I'm wrong, but you guys are really, really focused on content at Outerbox.
Yeah, we are. There's two things. I mean, we build a lot of content because we have a lot of clients that have been SEO clients for a long time, and at some point, right, you've fixed the technical things, we've gotten rid of bad H1s and weird coding, and you've got schema set up, and you've done all the things you can do. Really, at some point, then it's how do we tackle keywords we don't rank for, keywords we don't even have a page for. How do we make category pages better by having good content at the bottom of them? How do we do more internal linking? Well, you need more content to do internal linking. And Google just wants to see that you're also putting out good content on a regular basis. So yeah, we inevitably, we're great at technical SEO. We're great at link building, but you still, to be an authority, need to be putting out good content all the time. I don't think there's any way around that.
I completely agree. How, what would you say are some of the biggest tips in finding writers? I imagine that you guys have to have quite a writing team and have been hiring writers for a long time.
Yeah.
Curious kind of what that process looks like, or if you could give us some tips of what to lean towards or what to stay away from.
Yeah, so for us, when we were smaller, and I think a lot of smaller SEO agencies deal with this problem, is they have their SEOs, they have their specialists and their strategists who know SEO also doing content writing because they have to. And you run into a lot of content that's just not great. They don't know how to use brand voice and all those kind of things. So really what we've done at this point is we've hired English majors, and we have a good content team. They understand SEO and they're learning more about SEO every day, but that's not really the main goal. The main goal is for them to understand the client, the brand voice, and be able to really write awesome content. And then our SEOs can optimize it or put keywords in or change links around if they need to. So I think it's really, my suggestion would be find a great writer. Don't worry so much about SEO. You can always optimize the content once it's written.
Completely agree. Used to do everything exactly the opposite, but I couldn't agree now more.
Yeah.
So what kind of on-page SEO tools do you use? Do you use any, or?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by on-page SEO tools? Like to do what specifically?
I feel like Surfer and all these tools as of late,
Gotcha.
the last year have become super, super, super popular. And I'm just curious your take, if you use them, don't use them, or
Sure.
indifferent.
Yeah, I've used Surfer and some of those. I mean, they can give you some good tips. I think like the LSI stuff is beneficial. Like what words do you need to be using? Hey, everybody on the first page of Google use these 10, words on their page. It probably makes sense that you would talk about those same things as well. So I think there's definitely some good pieces there. For the price, a lot of them aren't expensive. So I don't, for $100 or a couple $100 a month, I think it's worth it. I would say as far as some of the things it gives you, like, hey, you should go get these links, or everybody has these links, that stuff I haven't used as much. But from a content perspective and an LSI, data point, I think it's pretty beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man. So this has been really awesome. I appreciate your insight. Again, we're going to link up to the examples that we talked about in the show notes. I think you're a great example of a marketer that's actually doing marketing for themselves, which is really hard to find these days. I feel like nobody does. So yeah. I definitely want to highlight you and showcase you so others could go and find you and see this and have something to model for themselves and their own business and their own agency. And I want to wrap it up in asking one question. So instead of asking you to recommend 3 books, like I feel like every podcast does, I'm either a voracious reader and I can't put a book down once I start it, or I get like halfway through the first chapter and I'm like, nah, no thanks. Mm-hmm. So I always like to ask the people that I think are smart, the people that I like to follow, the people I get on my podcast, like, what's the one book that's made the biggest impact on the way that you do business and why?
Yeah, I would say, I like doing sales. So I'm always into sales books. And I think everybody should be into sales, whether they're have a direct sales position or not. You're always selling something, even if that's just selling yourself. or you're trying to sell a content piece when you pitch it to a client, because you're a content writer. So my favorite book would probably be The Ultimate Sales Machine. I just think it's an absolutely awesome book. There's so many actionable pieces in it. So like, even if you read a chapter here and there, I have that book highlighted like crazy, where it's just like, when you do this, make sure you do this. And it's a great book for selling ideas. And like I said, no matter what job role you have, you're always selling an idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a super oldie, super goodie, and I haven't read it for quite some time, actually. So Justin, great recommendation, good referral. I'll definitely pick that up and read it again. And man, thanks so much for coming and being on the podcast. Again, we'll link up everything in the show notes. And if somebody wants to reach out to you personally, maybe do some business with you, has an e-com site, what's the best place or the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I mean, my email is just justin@outerbox.com. So that's easy enough. Probably could have guessed it. But yeah, that's the best way. Or look up our phone number on our site. Give us a call.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks, Justin. See you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in and Show Me the Nuggets. If you've been enjoying the podcast and find our content helpful, please visit our Apple Podcast page, hit the subscribe button, and leave us a review. Joe and the whole team have been working hard to bring more value to the show. Your feedback will go a long way in helping us make the show better and reach a wider audience.